everybody? It's Double Big Bully Bojo back with another installment of WGS-TV right here on the WGS YouTube channel. And it's time for another Double B and Ashley Doctor Who episode reviews. As this week we take a look at Night Terrors. Ah! I'm scared. I am totally frightened that actual thing popped up.
We just want to play.
Okay, I'm good at tiddlywinks. Of course, guys.
Enough of the disguises. Enough of the disguises.
Alright, guys, it's the Studley Man, Ashley. Of course, again, like I said, it's another Double B and Ashley's Doctor Who episode reviews. We're taking a look at this week's episode, which was entitled Night Terrors. And now, according to one of the Doctor Who insiders they had during the commercial breaks, that this episode was actually originally called House Calls. Then they decided to go with Night Terrors because apparently, I guess it
sounds spookier.
Yes, it did. Now, the main focus on this episode, guys and gals, was the main centerpiece was focused around this kid named George, who was pretty much had a fear of everything, right, Ash?
Yeah. Anything that he was scared of, it went in the cupboard.
Yes, anything, whether it be like a picture, a toy, anything that frightened him, it went into that cupboard. Now, there's a huge focus placed on the cupboard in the latter part of the episode. Now, one thing that was really strictly confusing at first, Amelia and Rory, they both got into an elevator to try to talk and find out exactly what was going on. Then next
they toured to try and find George on the estate.
And then they get plummeted right into an area. Now at this point in the episode, we're not entirely sure where they are exactly until we find out in the latter part of the episode what it was. But a lot of people. Now, what I was thinking is, at one point the Doctor was with George, and he used a sonic screwdriver to make all the toys active. And then he did a scan of the cupboard, and then then he just turned pale white because he made a unique discovery about the cupboard, right, Ash?
Yeah. Sonic screwdriver does not work with wood. Which is an ongoing joke, actually, because I remember it from the pirate ship one. It was like pointing a sonic screwdriver and it's like, it's not working. Probably because it's a pirate ship, it's slightly more antique than this or whatever, so keep going with the joke that basically all this technology stuff, all this signal stuff is absolutely brilliant. He can he can handle it perfectly, but simple piece of wood, no.
Yeah, but there was something about the cupboard that he scanned that made him turn pale white, and then he turned to George's father and told him that these monsters that George thought were and his father thought were make believe.
Well, the fact that he couldn't get in with a sonic screwdriver, which meant something that was in there that was supposed to be locked away.
Yep.
These monsters are real.
And then next thing we know, I believe the character was the landlord with the bulldog, and he got sucked in through his carpet.
You missed the old granny as well.
Yes, because the granny
got sucked into the bin bags.
Oh yes, definitely. But next thing you know, I see the scene. It's Amelia and Rory, and they're both looking at the landlord. He's being touched by this 6-foot-tall doll. Next thing you know, the guy's transformed into a doll himself. Hence that.
Yeah.
So it was unique. Now we have like an actual terror for Amelia and Rory to be running from is those things, because if those things touch them, they become what the Studley Man Ashley just showed you right there, an actual doll.
The peg doll.
The peg doll. And I do believe that's they were trying to escape. Amelia and Rory. Rory had the mop to push them out the way, but there was another one behind them that I guess Rory didn't see, and Amelia got caught, and Amelia got transformed into that. What the Studley Man Ashley just showed you right there.
I don't think that was that one, because I thought Amelia's doll was slightly more ginger.
Yeah, and not only that, but it had a hat on it too, didn't it?
I think so, possibly, yeah.
And then, all right, now, at this point in the episode, the doctor and George's father have opened up the cupboard to try to figure out what exactly was going on. Then they realize that there's something off about George.
Well, yeah, he discusses it as like, oh, yeah. How old's the kid? Oh, it's been about his 8th birthday. Christmas Eve 2002, you must remember it joyfully.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's a little bundle of joy, the best moment of my life. And it's like, well, hang on. Here's the shot from Boxing Day, and she isn't pregnant.
Yeah.
Which is, 2 days before the birth. So, how is she not pregnant? And then we get the revelation
That she
they
can't
can't have kids because of IVF and everything. It's failed. So if that's the case, why is George there?
Then next thing you know, George starts getting terrified, and the doctor and his father get sucked in. And next thing,
Saving from the monsters.
exactly, and we come to find out that they were sucked into the dollhouse, which is where Amy and Rory and those other people were. They were inside that dollhouse. Then the doctor makes the startling realization of what George actually is. I believe he called a Tensian alien.
Tenza.
Tenza alien.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not too familiar with Tensan aliens, but apparently it's like an alien that adapts, if I'm saying that correctly.
It's an alien that uses a perception filter in order to be the perfect kid. To both, it's a creature that wants to be the absolute, ideal of perfection in the eyes of what it cares for.
And in this case,
So
for George, it's the father.
It's the perfect kid. It
Well,
has the ability to lock away his fears within the wardrobe because the mum is away doing her nursing job, unaware of this.
yes.
Because the perception filter still works. It's kind of like the psychic paper that the doctor uses. It's perception filter. What they want to see is there. So when we see Doctor turn up, holding his paper up, Alex, the dad, thinks that it says social services. It's the same kind of perception filter that she, is used.
Now, we come to the point in the episode where we get the startling realization that George has created this universe in the dollhouse. And the doctor says that the only person who can stop all of this is George himself. So he convinces George to not only open the cupboard, but when he opens the cupboard, all the dolls that were attacking Rory, well, I say attacking, but you know what I mean. But they're coming after Rory, the doctor, and Alex, the dad, themselves. They all stop, and next thing you know, we see at the bottom of the staircase, it was George. And then all of a sudden, the dolls start turning on George.
The dolls stop. And they then, after the realization, is like, oh, what do I do with him? Because the whole idea as how the doll's house was created, because it was withdrawal.
Yes.
He didn't want to be withdrawn and forgotten about.
Which was apparently the biggest fear of George, was not only that being sent away, but I guess maybe a fear of rejection. In a sense.
This is why Alex came to save the day by realizing, okay, he may not be human,
but he's still his son.
but he's his son.
Exactly. And then, basically the issue with the episode is over. Everything's fine. George's mother comes back in, and they're all happy. Everything is, fine. The old lady appears in the trash bags. The the landlord wakes up on his floor with his pit bull licking his hand. I hope he washes his hand after that. I'm just kidding. Anyway, everything has returned back to normal. Apparently, George is cleared of his fears. So, and then Amelia and Rory come out of the elevator, and Amelia still gets the realization that, was I just a doll? Yeah, you were. You were a doll.
You were just that.
Exactly. She was just that. And then pretty much that was it. The Doctor, Amy, Rory head for the TARDIS. And
then the dolls sing their song.
Tick tock, even for the Doctor. It kind of gives you a chill, doesn't it?
Because on that screen is the Tesselector thing that we talked about last week.
Yes.
Saying the 22nd of April 2011, the Doctor dies. So it's still hanging over the whole rest of the series.
Definitely it is. Definitely is. Official episode rating. I'm going to go for a 4 out of 5. I'm not saying well, the episode wasn't as gripping as Let's Kill Hitler was. It wasn't. I just didn't find it to be thoroughly as entertaining. It was as good a story as Stephen Moffat could have come up with, but for some reason it just didn't, grab at me. That's probably why this was probably a one-story episode, because it just really, it didn't have the. I don't know. I really don't know what to say about it. Like a je ne sais quoi about it. With Stephen Moffat episodes, those episodes like run 1 to 2 episodes at a time before the whole situation is resolved. It's a rarity that we see a Doctor Who episode and a story that resolves in just one episode by itself. Now, albeit, the story, it was a good story, but I think maybe if they would have stretched out maybe to another episode, it would have had a better feel to it, is what I would think. So that's why I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. What do you think, Ash?
I'd have to agree, 4 out of 5. Very well written story. Mark Gatiss, full praise to him. It probably wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. I was actually petrified by stuff like Blink and the Almost People. When Stephen Moffat was writing originally, there were some really scary characters that he came up with and everything.
Yeah.
But I still say it's a good episode. It was nice to have a kind of episode as well where the Doctor was separated from his assistants and it was 2 storylines merging into one kind of thing.
Yeah.
Very good. I'd say it's a decent episode 9, episode 2 or whatever, because it's a tough act to follow from, the way the episode's built out in season 5. So, anyway. But next week, it looks even more intriguing, because, as hinted by the title, this is an Amy story. The
Definitely.
girl who waited. And according to the synopsis on the BBC Doctor Who website, the Doctor and Rory must save Amy from her own worst enemy. Kindness. And now, let's talk about a few of the scenes I saw. They showed some clips. Apparently, in this episode, they're going to be fighting like these robot warriors that have like egg-shaped faces. And then in one scene, in one clip, it's Amy and Amy. It's the different Amy. I'm guessing it's different timeline kind of Amy.
It kind of like Amy's Choice from last season, when the evil side of the Doctor, played brilliantly by Toby Jones, basically said, okay, one of these you actually isn't real, one of these is. It's either you're freezing to death, or you're pregnant and you're having a kid, but there is a kind of zombie massacre, well, it wasn't zombie, but some kind of weird, like, massacre thing going around in the village where you live. Thankfully, she chose the right one. Just in case you think I'm spoiling for it, I'm not telling you which one is actually the right one. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it yourself. But that same kind of thing, and then we've got the God Complex, which is this kind of, from what I've seen of the clips and everything of it, it's basically take the episode tonight and put it in a hotel, possibly. I don't know. Then we've got Closing Time with Craig coming back, aka James Corden.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get to the end.
Yep.
Sadly, and then you get... Well, I don't know whether Billy is going to have to see it somehow. There is a... Before the Christmas special, in the Doctor Who Confidential in the UK here, it's been pretty much confirmed this week, there is a 3-minute short that's going to be made, featuring the Doctor and everything, called Death is the Only Answer, written by a bunch of school kids who won a competition to be able to give them the chance.
It was written
Death
by a
is
bunch
the
of
only
school
answer.
kids? Wow.
Yes.
I
Let me get the details.
I can't wait to see that when it comes out.
Let me get the details of it, because it's... I don't know if it'll act as... It's just it's a special thing that they've done. It's not really related to anything. And of course, my computer decides to be a bit slow on it.
Well, maybe on next week's episode.
No, don't worry, it's coming up. It's coming
All right.
up. We're gonna find a way. We're gonna force this thing to do something. There we go. Series 4, Series 5. Death is the Only Answer by the pupils of Oakley CE Junior School.
Oakley C Junior School?
Yeah, and then we got the Christmas special, and then Series 7, but there'll probably be loads more in between as well, and all that. By the way, the people I was talking about last week that I couldn't remember was Elizabeth Sladen, who played Sarah Jane Smith. And then the other one was... I still can't remember. Bald. Oh, I can't remember. Joe Grant, that's it. Joe Grant, his assistant from Series 7. Mm-hmm. The assistant before Sarah Jane came in. Actually. But anyway, I still haven't watched Science in the Library, but I have got the box set somewhere about over there. No, not in case I don't know where I'm pointing, not where Billy is, in case, if I'm pointing the wrong direction, this is probably me learning which way to point for YouTube video. Yeah. I'll work it out eventually.
Eventually.
You see, that side is my left. Just note to self when it's on the video. That side's on my left. This is kind of inappropriate during the middle of a video, but this is what happens when you record Skype calls. But anyway, yeah. Long live the series.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so on that note, the official WGS rating for Night Terrors by Doctor Who, it's a 4 out of 5.
4 dolls heads out of 5.
Yep. So if you guys seen this episode, leave your comments in the comment section below, and plus whatever you rating. We always like to hear from you guys. With that being said, I'm Doug B. Billy Boudreaux, along with the Studley man Ashley himself, saying thank you very much for watching. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. So also, last minute note, ladies and gentlemen, coming up September 7th on WGS Radio. Former WWE superstar, the Masterpiece, Chris Masters, will be on WGS Radio Wednesday, September 7th, 7 p.m. Central Time. So be sure you tune in for that. We'll have more details to come on a later date. With that being said, thank you very much for watching.
Would you like a jelly, baby?